Okay, we continue with chapter 4. Uh, Various malicious programs such as Trapdoor, Backdoor, Logic Bomb, Trojan Horse, Zombie, Viruses, and Worm. Before this, we already discussed a hacking process and security attacks. For security attack, you need to read on your own and try to understand the difference between passive and active attacks. Okay, so what is actually the virus? Okay, the virus is a malicious piece of programming code. Maybe it is designed to spread from one node to another or from one device to device. It's maybe considered as a malware that can copy or self-copying itself to design to damage the device or stealing any data. It is same like the normal biological viruses that we experience today. Uh, the coronavirus it is still the same. It can be affected on that mechanism. Some computer virus programmed to harm your computer by damaging the program. Okay, maybe your application will not run properly, or maybe it will be totally shut down. Deleting files, reformatting the hard drive, it's happened once. Others simply replicate themselves or flood the network with traffic, especially in DDoS attack, making it impossible to perform any internet activity because the network is already flooded. Flooded, sorry, it's not flooded, it's flooded. Okay, how does the virus being affected or distribute? It's normally right now using a web activities like sharing music files, attaching of email, visiting an infected website, okay, downloading pirate software, free games, toolbar, or anything that being floating around at a website, and maybe installing legitimate application, but it already planted a malicious code inside that free application. We don't know. So maybe using a physical devices such as USB, CD that has any infected or any malicious application that can be distributed from one device to another. Okay, take a look at this.
We hear about them in the news almost weekly these days. But what is a computer virus anyway? The definition of a computer virus is a malicious piece of software or malware that once inside your computer replicates and infects other computers in your network, stealing passwords or data, logging keystrokes, corrupting files, spamming your contacts, or even taking over your machine. Like a cold that you just can't shake, computer viruses are definitely something you want to avoid. Find out how to protect against them, because evolving threats demand evolving protection.
I'm not promoting Norton product. I just took out from their website where the definition of the virus is quite simple. Okay. Okay, we shall continue our discussion on computer virus. So, what is the symptoms of computer virus? It's maybe slow performance of your computer, a very suspicious behavior of your computer, irritating mechanisms such as lots of windows floating around, replicating themselves, unexplained of data loss. Suddenly your data is hidden, lost, deleted, you don't know, and maybe a few frequent computer crashes. Okay, for the web or internet security point of view, your server is getting slow, and then suddenly the bandwidth consumed is spiking up. You don't know. This is some of the symptoms where the computer viruses is already in your PC or server or in your network. Okay, how computer viruses can be removed? Okay, yes, we can use antivirus. Uh, the installation of antivirus right now is still the a prime source to solve this problem, but you need to update the virus signature because the preventive of the current virus need to be updated. So this antivirus will identify whether it is being infected or not, and then you are being asked want to remove that affected files, or they just quarantine it, or maybe some of the antivirus automatically delete all the files. So it's depend on the how the antivirus works. So so the suggestion of protection, maybe you can use antivirus or a firewall. You need to get an antivirus software, and maybe keep your antivirus protection, anti-spyware software up to date. So sometimes that you install as a antivirus or scanning application, also actually a malicious application that try to delete the actual antivirus software. You need to update your operating system. Okay, whether you like it or not, you need to update your operating system. So increase your browser security setting, maybe will help you to prevent this affected of the viruses, and avoid unrecognized website uh, or involving in questionable website, survey website that you don't know the legitimacy of the website. Only maybe you can download a software that available from the trusted website, and sometimes you need to very careful with offer by a free file sharing, free file of software download before downloading them. And then maybe for email, do not open messages from unknown senders, and do not open an attachment from any senders that you don't know. Uh, Maybe you can delete messages if it is come from the suspicious resources, or maybe you just delete your spam box in your email. Okay, that is some of the protection that you can use. Okay, so the malicious software hierarchy you can see in this diagram. It can be need a host program or independent. So need a host program, essentially they try to attach in existing programming code to get involved or to get replicating of the virus, or the independent program itself. They can run automatically. Normally it is a worm or zombie. And then if for host program, a backdoor, trapdoor, logic bomb, and Trojan horse. Okay. Okay, what is a backdoor? Backdoor or trapdoor is somehow entry point into a program, okay, or entry a point to the network or a web server. And for the network point of view, if it's an open port, so they can use it as a backdoor to gain access to your network. So the logic bomb is one of the oldest type of malicious software. Okay, it's try to copy and try to attach to existing application, and then it going to trigger or activate um, when a specified condition met. For example, like a date, or once you open such and such application, and then it's going to be run and then do the attacking. Okay, the next one is Trojan horse. Okay, okay, what you can see about this? How do you define, or what do you know about Trojan horse? Okay, why it is named as a Trojan horse? Okay, during the Greek area, okay, Trojan horse is the wooden horse, a big wooden horse. You can Google it. Uh, this one, the Trojan horse, is actually the gift for the okay. Okay, you can Google on your own about that Greek story. It's actually a gift given by the uh, some so-called of her friends to do the attacking. It's look legitimate, but inside that Trojan horse, there's an army that can destroy or do any bad thing to the victim. So it is going to be the same thing as a Trojan horse virus. A Trojan horse virus, we can consider it as a application or a malicious a malware that misleads users of its true purposes. For example, when you download some application, you think that application is legitimate, but once you install in your computer, it actually spread the malicious application. What they do normally is destroying uh, data, or destroying in your storage, maybe change of the application, and transmitting uh, application or data to your computer. Okay, this is a type of the form of virus when we call it a Trojan virus. Okay, the next one is a zombie. So zombie, um, according to name, according to the name itself, According to the name itself, it's a computer connected to a network that has been compromised by a hacker. Maybe it carried a virus or a Trojan. It can be used remotely to access your computer. Most of the owners of the computers don't know that their system is being used by others. So up to that point, you can read it. Okay, the next one is a bot. It's a malware instances that run autonomously and automatically on a compromised computer. We call it a zombie without owner's consent. Okay, without owners knowing it. Okay, and then it can be known as a botnet, as a network of bots controlled by a criminal, and it can be in charge by the CNC, also known as a command and control channel. Okay, maybe you don't understand it, but this is the architecture of the botnet. So the zombie or arm of the zombie computer is being controlled by the bot master, right? Okay, let's take a look at this. So the bot master is the attacker that distribute the bot, the malicious application, into the computer. So now, or computer or any network devices, whether it is came from peer-to-peer or a client server, as long as it is network. And now, all of these devices or nodes, okay, we call it a zombie because they don't know the bot already planted in their devices. Okay, their devices, and then what the bot can do is these malicious activities. This is just an example. Maybe a spam generation, DDoS attack, infect system, phishing, collecting data, okay, bottlenecking the internet traffic, and then target all of the application and user. It works when the bot master copy the bot inside the zombie, okay, a network computer that you don't know whether it's being taken over by the bot master, and then bot master instruct when and what types of attack can be done. Okay, this is an example of the botnet. Okay, let's see. This is a good video for botnet. Okay, we just take a look.
Your PC could be part of the next major botnet, and you might never know it. To inflict the most damage, your PC could be part of the next major botnet, and you might never know it. To inflict the most damage with the least effort, hackers turn to creating an army of devices that can infiltrate and infect other devices, all on their own. This army is called a botnet. A botnet is a collection of internet-connected devices, like laptops, servers, mobile devices, and any IoT devices that are infected and controlled by a common type of malware. Users are usually unaware of a botnet infecting their system. Botnet attacks frequently go undetected because they involve a wide network of devices that operate in the background of a user's device and occupy little bandwidth. A bot is an infected device, which then becomes part of a network of infected devices controlled by a single attacker. A bot is sometimes called a zombie, and a botnet is sometimes called a zombie army. Both names, bot and zombie, imply the mindless automatic generation of something malicious by possessed agents. Botnets send email spam, engage in click fraud campaigns, and generate malicious traffic on servers. There are many different types of botnets, like distributed denial of service attacks, zombies, bot masters, and spamming through rented botnets. Some notorious botnets discovered in the recent past include Zeus, which uses a Trojan horse program to infect vulnerable devices and systems; Surisby, one of the largest botnets in the world, which infects users' computers to send out massive amounts of email spam; Methbot, which produces fake clicks and mouse movements, and forges social media account logins to front as legitimate users to fool conventional ad fraud detection techniques; and Mirai, which is malware that sends fake DDoS traffic and scans the internet for insecure connected devices while avoiding IP addresses belonging to major corporations and government agencies. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to botnet detection and prevention, but manufacturers and enterprises can battle botnets by incorporating strong user authentication methods, secure remote firmware updates, secure boot, advanced behavioral analysis, automation, machine learning, and artificial intelligence.
Tech target. The basic definition of botnet. Okay, what are they used for? Already explained. Okay, DDoS attack, spam, phishing, and so on. Okay, the botnet detection is kind of hard because it's very stealth on infected machine. It's dynamically involved and becoming more flexible. The static and signature-based approach less effective because it's evolving dynamically. So it comes in many variation, centralized or distributed type of network. We have a peer-to-peer, and right now, obviously, the client and server architecture. Okay, so this is another definition of a virus. Is a piece of replicating code attached to some other code and then propagate itself or carriers or payload. So this jargon, as mentioned, and definition of malicious software, please refer back to the hierarchy or the chart of the malicious application or malicious program. Okay, even somehow it's look like a malware, okay, but sometimes it can be defined as a virus. Okay, then all of these things can be carried as a boot because the network nature of a computer nowadays, where each of the nodes is connected through internet. So the virus operation can be dormant. So that means it's waiting on trigger event. Okay, it's not just when it resides in your PC. It's not normally straight away do the harm. It waits. Maybe after restart. Maybe you put inside a USB pen drive or whatever condition they use, and then it's normally replicating to a program. It's copy themselves or attach themselves inside the programming code, and it's triggering by the event to execute a payload. What kind of the condition that going to be used to distribute the payload by executing them. So the types of viruses can be classified on the basis of how they attack. We can define like a parasitic virus, memory resident virus, boot sector virus, a stat virus, polymorphic virus, change its virus signature with every infection, metamorphic virus, rewrites its own codes with every infection. So Detail on this, maybe you can find out in your computer security subject. It's depend. If it is affecting boot sector, we call it a boot sector virus. It depend on the how they attack. So worms actually known as a virus before, but worms it work independently because normally it used for DDoS or flooding the network. They keep copying themselves and make your hard disk full. So it's using users distributed privilege or by exploiting system vulnerability. Okay, widely used by hackers to create a zombie PC, subsequently used for further attack. As an example, the DDoS attack. Major issue is lack of security of permanently connected system, especially a personal computer. Okay, there is when you remember back 5 phase of hacking process. Okay, hackers normally don't use any single technique, okay, or any one technique to do the attacking. So they send the worm first, and then worm recruiting the zombie PC, and then the zombie PC wait from the boot master to receive a boot, and then your computer become a botnet in the network, and then botnet will wait the instruction from the boot master to do further attacking, do the malicious activities, and then select what type of target. So this story behind all of this mechanism or stepwise how the process of hacking and attacking it can be done and one to another. It's depend on how the attacking process being done by the attackers or hackers. So you can, this is the same thing like we discussed before. It is work like viruses, and I just shared with you previously how it works and how it trigger the botnet. So this is an example of Morris Perm. You can read it. Okay. Okay. You can look the evolution of the worm technology. Before this, it's just replicating themselves, but they now have a multi-platform, multi-exploit, ultra-fast spreading, polymorphic and metamorphic. Okay, what is the polymorphic and metamorphic? You can refer previous note. You can use as a transport and zero-day exploit. So this is the evolution or the technology of the worm. Okay, and then we go to the countermeasures. Normally, what you want to combat the virus, I already explained before using the antivirus. But the issue is generally it's not possible to clean up all of these viruses all at once. But it still depend on what kind of virus or what kind of the attacking that you receive. But first and foremost, you need to do the three basic thing. Do the detection of viruses in infected system. So how do you want to do the detection? Either it's run automatically in network before it goes to your personal computer, or your personal computer have their own antivirus. So that antivirus will run the scanning process, and then once it is identified what type of viruses based on the signature update, recent signature update, and then you need to remove it. That's it. But sometimes it's not work for the recent virus because their signature is not updated yet. Okay. Okay, we have a few generation of antivirus. Before this, we just have a simple one that the malicious application is not too dangerous when it is not belong to the recognized vendors or anything. We just simply discard it, but the risk is continue. Maybe the new generation will have different types of approach to combat all of this network computer. Now we have an IoT issue of this virus attack, because IoT devices have this network connected devices, and they send data to the cloud, to the server. So there's a lot of sensitive data being transmitted, and we don't know what is the server can receive the actual data or the correct data. If in the middle of the transmitting process is being tapped by the hackers or intruders, so maybe data that you send to the cloud or server is not right or wrong. Okay, so this is the digital immune system. As you can know, they have the 7 step. This is how they identify this. Okay, once the new viruses is identified, so the administrative machine will send that sample of the viruses to analysis. We have a virus analysis machine, analyze virus behavior and structure, and extract the signature and derive a prescription. So what you need to do, okay, on the next step is send it back to the administrative machine, and then do the repairing to the client machine, or go to the administrative machine and other private network to do the cleanup, or go for the personal computer or individual computer to do cleaning. So as you can see, when we extract the signature or the virus signature, if it is still not updated to the latest signature, the prescription is not there, so that means the problem still there and the cleaning process cannot be done, or the removal process cannot be done. So it takes time, but my advice is you need to upgrade or update your virus signature regularly. Okay, whether okay it is an option, but for protection, I advise you to download a antivirus signature. Some application or software like a behavior blocking software, they're going to have this algorithm that going to interfere any abnormal activities of the application of the network, and blocking all of this activity for the future's work. Okay, the last one is DDoS. I have another discussion after this DOS. We call it social engineering, but we need to know what is the distributed denial of service attack. Okay, the DDoS attack normally can make the network system unavailable. Unavailable means because of the heavy load of the bandwidth and traffic, and then people cannot access that. This is the attack where normally used for web server accessibility, where people cannot go to the network or the web server due to the bottleneck or congested in the traffic. If they can access, it can kind of slowing down the process of accessibility. Okay, this is the DDoS. Okay, again, it is still a zombie. Okay, it works like this. For example, you have For example, you have a network. Okay. Okay, we have another network. Okay, and then it's been affected by a bot, for example, and then all of these nodes become a zombie, and then it's connected to internet. Okay, and then it's connected to the target server. Okay, once, for example, this is a bot master. Okay, this is this is CNC. Okay, this is not that infected by the bot, or we call it as a zombie. Okay, and then when the bot master instruct all of these nodes to send DDoS through the internet, and then attack the server, and the traffic can be congested. Okay, the meaning of the congested here is all of the zombie actually don't have an intention to communicate with the server, but as an instructed given by the bot master and being in charge by the CNC here, and then all of this node, for example, if the network consuming about 1,000 of computer, and then they recruit another network with 1,000 of computer within the same period of time, they send information to the or request information to the server or try to gain access to the server. So the traffic gonna be flooded and bottleneck, so the normal user cannot access due to this traffic. Okay, that is a story of the whole process. What is the zombie? It is okay. Okay, all of these things have been told you before. So how you want to do the countermeasures? It's same like preventing the virus. Three broad lines of defense. First, attack prevention and preemption. Okay, attack detection and filtering during the attack, and attack source, trace back and identify. Okay, that after. Okay, there is a huge of attack, a possible of attack, and the countermeasure that you need to handle. So there is like I said before, or the YouTube I said from Tech Target, there is no one solution for all. So it depends on the condition. Okay, if you work as the network administrator or security professional, security administrator, so you're going to combat this situation. So you need to keep yourself up to date with the recent attack, especially when you have a responsibility to defense or protect a huge corporation or a large database. So it's very important for you to know and how to trigger this. Sometimes hackers can become defenders because they know how the hackers work. Okay, so that's for DDoS, and the last topic for 4.1 before we go to secure injection and cross-site scripting. Okay, I want to discuss about the social engineering. The social engineering, how we want to manipulate the social or natural human tendency to trust. Okay, uh, this one. Okay, you need to understand and know how a phishing work. So phishing work is not a phishing feast. Okay, it's a phishing where we try to communicate with the prospect victim, to gain initial information by pretending you are very legitimate, you are a valid partner, a valid application. Okay, for example, you have an email, let's say from Maybank, for example, and request for the new password, and then they give you a form, and then you key in all of these password, and then they said wrong, please try it again, for example, but actually you are giving them a password so that he can send the information to their server. If you are using, if you are previously have this experience of developing a website and have a form, so it's the works like that. It's just a very simple try to get an information, especially to the people who are not have this good knowledge in computer technology, and especially in networking and internet. Okay, this is you can read it. Fraudulent practice of sending email purporting to be from legitimate, like I said before. So how we want to detect a phishing? Very simple is, for example, if I said it is come from the Maybank, and then look what types of information you are sending and get from. If the name is or the URL is very suspicious, they normally do this automatically, because they try to send all of this phishing to a lots of victims, future victims. Okay, and then you need to compare the actual form or the actual website. For example, sometimes it's very vague and very suspicious, so you need to identify that. Okay, and then most of the spam block already recognize it as a spam email, especially when the email addresses is not legitimate, using a suspicious character. Okay, so that's all for 4.1. Okay, for the review question, you need to answer on your own. You need to explain how the hacking is done, the 5 phase, explain the difference between Trojan horse and worm, explain one of the method of attack through email. Okay, what type of attack? I can give you example, phishing. Explain one of the technique used in advanced antivirus. So this is some of the review question. So there is a lot of things need to be covered. So that's all for 4.1 for the general information of the malicious application and attacks. So 4.2, we're going to discuss about the secure injection. That is one of the form of attack as well, and then the cross-site scripting in chapter 4.3. Alright guys, thank you and Assalamualaikum.